The Amazing Digital Circus now has over 250 million views, which actually means a lot for the show as to what can happen with the next few episodes that release. For example, the fact that it's had such insane amounts of success, they're going to be rushing to get the next episode out. We know that with one of Glitch's previous shows, Murder Drones, their first episode has 37 million views, whereas the next episode has less than 20, which means that the show lost almost half of its audience just because they took a year in between the pilot episode and episode 1 of the new season. So Glitch, knowing this and with the insane success giving them enough money to fund the Amazing Digital Circus, they're gonna release an episode a lot quicker, to where some people have estimated that we'll get episode 2 in either March or April. As well, the Amazing Digital Circus is now the most popular Glitch show, absolutely destroying Murder Drones 10 times over. But not only that, it's also the most popular indie animation show by more than double, where second place is now Has Been Hotel with 90 million views. And even though 90 million views is absolutely insane and Has Been Hotel has had one of the biggest successes in indie animation, the Amazing Digital Circus has absolutely destroyed it, which means that they're definitely going to make a season 1, as that's been pretty much confirmed by Gooseworks and other people on Twitter by the way that they say things, and possibly we could get a season 2 considering their success. Let's say that Murder Drones got a full season because it got 37 million views on its pilot episode. If the Amazing Digital Circus were to go off of the same logic, we could get 5 or 6 full seasons just based off of the first pilot episode. And if we go off the same logic again, let's say that episode 1 of the Amazing Digital Circus got half of the views of the pilot, just like what Murder Drones did, it would still be the second most popular animation video, only behind the pilot itself, which means that Gooseworks is now one of the biggest animation creators in YouTube history, and will continue to get many more seasons if the success continues. However, Gooseworks has hinted that they only want to do one season, which means that there's possibly a grand ending to the show that has already been written. But with the insane success, there is a possibility that they would rewrite the ending to make it flow to a season 2 or season 3. But in all honesty, season 2 and season 3, if they do happen, are 5 to 10 years away. And to fund all of these seasons would take an insane amount of money, as we know that they had to basically beg for people to buy merch just to fund the show, because in the description they literally said, help us greenlight a full season by buying their merch, to which you could buy anything off of the website, but the most popular items being their Jax and Pomni plushes, which sold out pretty quick. And so when they kept making them, they definitely got a lot of money. But how much money did they make exactly? Well, I'm gonna calculate that, both the AdSense, which is how much they get paid for views, and the merchandise they sold. Let's say with 250 million views and a 30-minute long video, they could get paid about $10 for every 1,000 views. So if we divide 250 million by 1,000 and then multiply that by 10, that means that the Amazing Digital Circus's pilot episode alone, just off of views, made them $2.5 million. And even though that's an insane amount and pays for all of their team 10 times over, what really makes them the money is their merchandise. Let's say only 1 out of every 1,000 people bought something from their merch store, which would be a 0.1% conversion rate. Only 0.1% of people who watched the show actually bought something off of their store. And let's go with an average price of an item on their store being $40, which is about how much their plushes cost. If we take 250 million views divided by 1,000 for 0.1%, we get 250,000 units sold. And if we multiply that by 40, that gives us an extra $10 million that they made just off of merch sales. Now, we don't know the exact number, and this could be a lot more than what it really was, and the only people who really know are Glitch and Gooseworks. But going off of these numbers, I would say it's fair to estimate that this is approximately how much they made, but you also have to take into account that it costs money for them to ship the merch, it costs money for them to make the merch. So I'm gonna guess that they made anywhere from $5 to $8 million on the pilot episode alone, and obviously that's more than enough money to fund a full season. And the money is great and all, but what Gooseworks and Glitch really value are the communities around the show. For example, Gooseworks has built an entire community off of her Tumblr page in which the fans will ask her questions and then she'll respond giving a funny answer or giving a real answer about the lore of the circus, and we get to learn more about the show that she created. As well, Glitch likes to have communities around all their different animation shows united under the brand Glitch. And so even subreddits have been made dedicated to the Amazing Digital Circus, in which people will show off their art or people will talk about theories or whatever they feel like discussing about the Amazing Digital Circus. And this helps a ton with Gooseworks and Glitch to continue making the shows, because if the community around it is good and it's not destructive to the show, then obviously they'd want to keep going. But this is where it starts to take a turn, as there are some bad communities around the Amazing Digital Circus. There is one community that I refuse to talk about, and if you know it, you know it. But what's really been plaguing YouTube recently are the cancer animation channels. What these people will do is they'll take the Amazing Digital Circus characters and make a sloppily made animation with whatever they want. And here's the thing, the characters are copyrighted or trademarked or something by Gooseworks and Glitch, which means that at any time these animation channels could get taken down. But they haven't yet, and the reason why is that Gooseworks said on Twitter that there's a general rule that you can't take down videos you don't like, but I would disagree and say that she should take these videos down because they're actually bad for the community, and that means we won't get as many episodes as we would hope. For example, one of these channels is called Hornstromp, where they are basically uploading every single day compilations of their animations, where they would reuse their animations over and over and over again, just with different titles and different thumbnails. And by doing this, all the kids that will click on their videos, they'll give them a ton of views, giving them a ton of money to continue making these animations. Because I'm not gonna lie, even though these animations are sloppily made, they still are ridiculously expensive. If you've ever tried to animate something, you would know how ridiculously long it takes. But still, these animation channels are bad for the community, and the only reason that they're doing it is because of the insanely quick success of the show, which means that maybe growing too quick can be a bad thing. But a good thing about it is that the theories are about to go crazy. With the Amazing Digital Circus's success, there have been many Amazing Digital Circus theory channels that have been made. For example, myself, a channel known as TADC, which is short for Amazing Digital Circus, and Circus Theory, and we're all making theories about the Amazing Digital Circus, including different stories from the information that we get. Imagine when season 1 comes out, how many different theories are going to be coming out with each new episode that releases. If episode 2 comes out and we get a new character, there are a bunch of videos that we could make about different theories and also explain the lore of the show, because we know that Gooseworks and Glitch like to be mysterious with the lore. For example, they showed us Kaufmo and him abstracting, but they didn't actually tell us what it was or why it happened or why everyone thought that it was a normal thing. And so we're left to go off of our own theories. As well, there will be many people on the subreddits talking about it as well. But my all-time favorite part about the community are definitely the animators who make their own spin-offs. And I'm not talking about the kids animation channels, I'm talking about something different. Have you ever seen the music videos for the Amazing Digital Circus that are made by people who don't actually work on the show? They'll get 10 million views pretty easily, but it will be actually high quality content where they make a good animation and a good song. As well, there are people who just straight up make funny animation versions. I remember that there's a version out there where there's Kane who says something that I can't say on YouTube per se, but it was really funny, and Gooseworks herself even liked it. And so with the animation that Glitch is making, many other animators will make their own spin-offs, and I'm here for it. But let me know down in the comments what else you think came from the incredible success of the Amazing Digital Circus. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and click on this video here.